Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tom's Gadget Garage. Today we're going to be doing a test ride on the newly released dual motor full suspension Ausom Gallop electric scooter. Now, I'm really excited about this. Ausom actually reached out to me a couple weeks back asking if I'd be willing to test out their new scooter. And of course, after looking over the details, doing some initial research, I said, absolutely, I want to test out that scooter. And so here we are today doing a test ride on the scooter, see what it's all about, what the performance metrics look like, how the ride feels, all of that fun stuff. Now, I will be doing a follow-up video after this episode where I do a full review of the Ausom Gallop, go over the ins and outs, and ultimately help you decide whether or not this is worth your hard-earned money. So first and foremost, let's get some basic specs out of the way. This is a 52-volt dual motor, 2400 watt electric scooter that comes with a full suspension. Now, in terms of the battery, it comes with a 23.2 amp hour lithium ion battery, as well as a single 2 amp charger. So if you do use a single charger, it will take up to 12 hours to fully charge the battery from a drained state. You also have the option of adding an additional charger, so charging with 2 chargers at once, which will bring your total charge time down to 6 hours. Now, a little more info on that battery. It is a removable battery, which is near and dear to my heart. I am a fan of being able to remove the batteries, bring them inside to monitor them while they charge. So kudos to Ausom for including a removable battery with the Gallop. Another thing I want to call out is this scooter does allow you to ride in both single and dual motor mode. In single motor mode, this scooter will get upwards of 34 miles per hour. Switch it over to dual motor mode and you can top out at 41 miles an hour. In terms of the brakes the scooter comes with, it's got dual hydraulic disc brakes and the rotors are 140 millimeters. And so far, the brakes have been absolutely awesome on this scooter. We'll go ahead and test them here from 24 miles an hour. Absolutely fantastic stopping power on this scooter. Didn't really have any issues with skidding out or anything like that. The brakes are very responsive and very effective at getting you to a stop from high speeds. Now, in terms of the stated range for this scooter, Ausom does claim up to 55 miles of range. Now, keep in mind, anytime e-bike scooter companies mention range estimates, they are based on a very specific set of controlled factors. For example, riding on flat ground in the lowest speed mode in ideal temperatures like 77 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. So if you weigh more than that, or you're riding up terrain with lots of hills, you're going to get less range. If you're lighter than that, you're riding on flat ground, you'll likely get the stated range that the scooter company posts. Now, the same is absolutely true with top speed. Although the stated top speed is 41 miles an hour, it's all dependent on those riding variables. Now, in terms of ride modes, this scooter has 3, one being the lowest ride mode, as well as the slowest top speed, all the way up to 3 being the highest top speed in both single and dual motor mode. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a full suspension scooter. It's got dual swing arm suspension with coil springs in the front and the back, and I'll tell you what, jumping up on this thing is super plush. Now, out of the box, this scooter is equipped with 2 10 by 3.15 inch tubed pneumatic tires, which have done a really good job at absorbing a lot of the impact and have really good handling on dirt and gravel. Now, in terms of the cockpit layout on this scooter, you've got a right-hand brake, a left-hand brake. You've got a thumb throttle here, which is super responsive. You've got a button for dual and single motor mode. And then just to the right of that, you've actually got a function button, which turns the scooter on and off, as well as with 3 presses will take you into the advanced system settings menu on this 4-inch display that you see here in front of me. Of course, this scooter does turn on with keys, as well as a long press of that function button. On the left-hand side, you have control of your headlights, turn those on and off. You've also got turn signals left and right. as well as a horn. If you're curious what that horn sounds like, here it is. Pretty loud. That'll get somebody's attention. One thing I do really like about this scooter is the lighting that it's got. It's got, I think it's something like 10 lights all the way around. So 360-degree lighting. You've got your headlights. You've got some front side lights. You've got accent lights on the side. You've got your turn signals. You've got some lights in the rear, your brake light, your tail light, all that fun stuff. So nighttime visibility isn't going to be an issue for this scooter. Now, out of the box, I do recommend inflating these tires to 32 psi. They can be inflated up to 50 psi. I've got them at 32 for the time being, but I'll be doing some speed runs. I'll definitely pump up a little more air in there and test out the speed with a fresh battery. Now, right now we are doing 37 miles an hour without issue at all whatsoever. And I'll tell you what, this scooter does offer an absolutely pleasant ride. It is very smooth. It handles the bumps in the road really well. And that says a lot about the suspension on this scooter. There is tons of travel as well as ground clearance. So the clearance between the bottom of the deck and the ground is 7 inches, and you have got a ton of travel on the scooter. I actually demonstrate some of that in my unboxing video where I bounce up and down the deck to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect travel-wise on this scooter. Now, if you're curious how this does on hills, we've got a little bit of an incline on here, which we will tackle in mode 2, dual motor mode. And I'll tell you what, this thing does fantastic on these hills. Any kind of incline, not a struggle at all whatsoever. If you're living in an area with lots of hills, especially steep hills, you're not going to have an issue with this scooter, given that it's got 2,400 watts of power. There is plenty in the tank to get you up whatever you need to get up. Overall, with this scooter, it's absolutely got really good handling. No issues at all from a handling perspective. I'm able to take tight turns while maintaining traction. The only time you really do lose traction is when you are going full throttle from the start in mode 3, dual motor mode. Those wheels will absolutely spin out, so hold on for dear life because you've got a lot of power under you. Now, for those of you coming from a single motor commuter type scooter, just keep in mind that once you get into, higher power scooters like this, your riding is going to be a little bit different. For example, a lot of times these throttles are sensitive. When you hit the throttle, it wants to pull you forward. And so you're going to want to adjust your balance. For me, if I'm accelerating heavily, I'm absolutely leaning forward and crouched down to get my center of gravity a little bit lower and more of my weight on the front of the scooter, because hitting that throttle full on, you're definitely going to be leaning back, holding on for dear life onto the handlebars. And that puts a lot of stress on the stem of the scooter, and so you'll want to modify how you ride by leveraging your weight and either moving that forward or backward, depending on whether or not you're accelerating heavily or braking hard. Now, one thing I do want to mention is, when I think about, how something like this rides compared to some of my commuter scooters, it's way higher up off the ground. So you definitely get this sensation that you are super tall, which is always fun when you're riding by, low-hanging trees and branches. So keep an eye out on that. But the nice thing about you know, the fact that, you know, these things are higher up off the ground is you've got a lot more ground clearance to go ride off-road and enjoy things off the beaten path. Now, if you want a little demo of what the braking looks like, again, we're in mode 2 right now, cruising around, having a great time, and then all of a sudden you need to stop really quickly, lean back, hit the brakes, and you are good to go. Plenty of stopping power, no issues at all with the brakes, more than enough to get you slowed down in a controlled fashion, which is really important. All right, so first impressions after riding the scooter around for a little bit. All I can tell you is I'm absolutely blown away. Like, this scooter is fantastic. It rides really well. It's super comfortable. Literally feels like I'm cruising around on a cloud right now. This has definitely got significantly more power than my typical commuter scooters, and so this is definitely a thrill-seeking type of ride that I'm super happy to have been given the opportunity to test out. One final thought here, and this is something that I find particularly intriguing, is the fact that this scooter is priced at $1,299, which, based on my testing so far, is absolutely a steal of a deal for what you get in this package. Dual motors, 2,400 watts of power, up to 55-mile range, and a top-end speed of 41 miles an hour, with an ultra plush dual swing arm suspension. All that for $1,299. Absolutely crazy to me. Now, I will be leaving some links in the description of this video, as well as some coupons, so that you can go check this scooter out for yourself. And ultimately, if it's something that you find interesting, that you want to try out for yourself, using my links will help support this channel so that we can keep the wheels moving and test other exciting personal electric vehicles in the future. So after cruising around with a scooter over the last couple days, all I can say is I'm thoroughly impressed. I think it provides a lot of value, a lot of bang for your buck. Now, obviously, I am not through with my testing yet. I'll actually be taking this up a mountain this coming weekend to see some of its steeper hill climb performance. But first impressions, this is a solid scooter, lots of value for your money here. And so, hey, if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. And as always, thank you for tuning into Tom's Gadget Garage. We will see you soon.